Hello friends at home. In this video, I will be doing today's religion test with you. I'm sitting here with your friends in the classroom. They're trying to be very quiet because they know that during a test we have to stay quiet. So the first thing I do is always the same. Take out my pencil and write down my name. Please make sure you put your name on your paper. This is such an important skill. All right. Now, as I go through this test with you, I will read the question and I'll give you time to answer it. Friends at home, if you need more time, you know you can pause the video and unpause it at any time. This first part here that I'm going to start with, it's at the top of page 10A. So if you're on the side that says 10B, you need to flip over. You're on the wrong side. So I'm starting on the 10A side, okay? So it says draw lines to match the words with their meanings. And so to kind of do that, what I'm going to do is I'll read you the word and then I'll read you the different meanings. And then I'll have you draw a shape around the word and its meaning and then connect the shapes. That way, sometimes we know the right answer, but when we start to draw the line, we get confused and we connect to the wrong answer. So if you draw the shapes around the bubbles, it helps you know which one you're connecting to, okay? So the first word here says Last Supper. Now I want you to think about the Last Supper and what the Last Supper was. I'm going to draw a circle around the one that says Last Supper. And when I read the answer over here that you hear sounds like what the Last Supper is, put a circle around it so then you can connect your circles, okay? So as soon as you hear me read what you think is the Last Supper, circle it so then you can connect them, okay? Was the Last Supper the holy meal that Jesus shares with us at Mass? Was the Last Supper another name for Jesus? Was the Last Supper the holy meal that Jesus shared with his friends? Or was the Last Supper another name for Eucharist? Think about the Last Supper. Was that the holy meal that we share at Mass? Was that another name for Jesus? The holy meal he shared with his friends, or another name for Eucharist? Put a circle around the one that you think it is and then connect the circles. All right, the next word is a big old word. It's hard to spell, but easy to recognize in print. It is the word Eucharist. I'm going to put a triangle around it. And I've told you many times throughout this chapter, when we hear Eucharist, we hear that you and Christ in there. It's like this was from Christ to you. It's like a gift. So is the Eucharist a holy meal that Jesus shares with us at Mass? Is the Eucharist another name for Jesus? Is the Eucharist the holy meal that Jesus shared with his friends? Or is the Eucharist another name for the Eucharist? Whichever one you think is the correct answer, draw a triangle around it and then connect your triangles. Is the Eucharist the holy meal that Jesus shares with us at Mass? Is it another name for Jesus? Is it the holy meal Jesus shared with his friends? Or is it another name for the Eucharist? Number 3 says the Blessed Sacrament. I'm going to draw a heart around the Blessed Sacrament. And I want you to think about what is the Blessed Sacrament. Is the Blessed Sacrament the holy meal that Jesus shares with us at Mass? Is it another name for Jesus? Is it the holy meal that Jesus shared with his friends? Or is it another name for the Eucharist, the Blessed Sacrament? So whichever one you think it is, draw a heart around and then connect. Now the last one should be kind of a gimme for you because you should only have one left, but I'm still going to read through them all just so you can make sure, because if you realize that the last one is wrong, you could go back and change one of your other answers, okay? So the last one says Christ. Is Christ the holy meal that Jesus shares with us at Mass? Is Christ another name for Jesus? Is Christ the holy meal that Jesus shared with his friends? Or is Christ another name for the Eucharist? So go ahead and draw a square around that answer and connect them. So now your circles should be connected, your triangles, your hearts, and your squares. That way you don't have any confusion. All right, now this next part, inevitably somebody always messes up on this one. They start writing words or numbers instead of letters, and they get confused, and there's no need to be confused if you pay attention. I'm going to do the first one with you so that you understand how to do it, and then the next 3 you'll do by yourself with me reading them to you, okay? So number 1, it says, Jesus is present in the blank. So I'm going to look over here and decide, what is Jesus present in? The bow, the wine, the Eucharist, the love, the bread, or the adore? Now we learned this chapter that Jesus is present in the Eucharist. So what letter, Johnny, do you see next to Eucharist? C. So I'm going to write that letter C right here in this first box. So now I know Jesus is present in the C, and then I can look at C and see that it says Eucharist, okay? So for each of these, when you figure out the word that goes in the box, you're going to write the letter in front of that word instead of the whole word, okay? All right. Number 2 says the Eucharist is a sign of God's what for us? Is it a sign of his bow for us, his wine for us, his love for us, his bread for us, or his adore for us? Don't say it out loud. Find the correct answer and write the letter that you see next to that answer in this box. So if you think it's bow for us, you put an A. If you think it's wine for us, you'd put a B. If you think it's his love for us, you'd put a D. If you think it's his bread for us, you'd put an E. And if you think it's his adore for us, you'd put an F. All right, number 3 has 2 answers. So you need to make sure you listen and put the correct answers. There will be 2. So it says the blank and blank are changed into Christ's body and blood. What gets turned into the body and blood? Is it the bow, the wine, the love, the bread, or the adore? 2 of these get changed into body and blood. Choose the 2, look at the letters next to them, and put those 2 letters here. It doesn't matter which order you put them in, it just matters that you get them both. So does the bow get turned into the body and blood? Does the wine get turned into his body and blood? The love, the bread, or the adore? And now you should only have 2 choices left. Number 4 says we can kneel or blank to blank Jesus Christ in the Blessed Sacrament. So we can kneel or bow. We can kneel or wine. We can kneel or love. We can kneel or bread, or we can kneel or adore. What do? We kneel or what? And when we do that, when we kneel or when we do that other thing that kind of looks like this, but I'm not giving you the answer, I'm just showing you what it kind of looks like, is that adoring Jesus Christ, breading Jesus Christ, loving Jesus Christ, Eucharisting him, wining him, or bowing him? I pretty much gave that one away. So when you're done, turn it over and we'll circle some answers here. It says circle the words that best complete the sentences. So sentence 1 says, at the Last Supper, Jesus shared the gift of what? Did he share the gift of himself? Or did he share the gift of money? At the Last Supper, did he say, this is my body, this is my blood, take it and eat it? Or did he say, here's my wallet, grab yourself a 10 spot? Oh, quiet during a test. Number 2 says, Jesus took the bread and said, this is my blank. Did he say, this is my soul? Or did he say, this is my body? What did he tell us? Don't say it, circle it. Mateo, we don't talk during tests. Number 3 says, Jesus took the wine and said, this is a chalice of my blank. Did he say, this is a chalice of my blood? Or did he say, this is a chalice of my heart? Number 4, after Mass, the Eucharist is kept in the blank. Where does the Eucharist go after Mass? It's already been turned into Jesus. We can't just put it in a cupboard or throw it away, so it goes somewhere special. What is that special place called? A tabernacle or the temple? Is it called the tabernacle or the temple? Blake? And number 5 says, Holy Communion gets taken to people who blank come to Mass. Does Holy Communion get taken to people who cannot come to Mass? Or does it get taken to people who don't want to come to Mass? And when you're finished with that, what it says, draw or write about something about St. Catherine Drexel. We learned a lot about her. We reviewed her yesterday. So give me a nice detailed picture about something that she did. Okay? Boys and girls at home, when you are finished, you will take a picture of both sides and send it to me. And you in the classroom will bring it up to me when you're done. Goodbye, friends at home.